Entrepreneurs were those crazy folks who'd rather slog 80 hours a week for ourselves than kick back for 40 hours working for somebody else. Sound familiar? Right. Sure, it gets a laugh, but let's face it, it hits way too close to home because unless you figure out how to break free from the day-to-day grind, you're going to limit your business's full potential and be stuck like a hamster on a wheel. And no matter where you're currently at on your entrepreneurial journey, eventually, every entrepreneur will come face to face with this dilemma. You know you can't do it all solo, but it's downright scary thinking that if someone else handles your task, they may mess it up. Or maybe, just maybe, you've tried to delegate in the past, but it was more of a headache than it was worth. But here's the cool part. When you nail down your systems, you can basically clone yourself, free up your time, and get back to what sets your soul on fire. I'm Marisa Murgatroyd, and I've helped tens of thousands of folks like you launch and scale their dream business. And while doing it, I've generated tens of millions of dollars in sales for my own business. But it hasn't been easy, especially letting some of the day-to-day tasks go so I could focus on the big picture in my business. For the longest time, I wore 4 hats in my company. I was the face and the voice, I was the head of marketing, I was the head of programs and fulfillment, and I was the CEO. And while I still wear 2 of these hats, I found team members who can really support me in the marketing and in the delivery of my programs so I can really liberate myself to the higher level. But I gotta say, before I found these people, I went through several other people, and they never felt like they were good enough for my standards or felt like I could do it better. But every time that I could do it better narrative went through my head, even though it may or may not have been true, it kept me from doing the truly big work that was going to take my business into a whole nother stratosphere. And that I can do it better is kind of an addictive monologue because it keeps you stuck on doing things that you may be able to do really well, but it never liberates you to that next level genius zone where you're doing things that only you can do. And I gotta say, I was addicted to being in the middle of it. I was addicted to being needed. I was addicted to feeling like what I did with my time was my value in the world. And I had to be brought to my knees, feeling like I couldn't do all 4 of these things anymore. I had to get sick, and then sick again, and sick again, before I finally let go. Because I'm the kind of person who doesn't give up without a fight. And entrepreneurs, we're fighters. But that fight that we've got about us, it's our best quality, and it's also our worst quality. Because when it comes to letting go, when it comes to rising to the next level of your work in business, you gotta let that fight go. You've gotta put down your sword and step into a new arena. And that's why today, we're diving into what systems are and what they aren't. And I'm gonna let you in on one ridiculously easy strategy to make sure any tasks are handed off smoothly. But first, be sure to smash that subscribe button because I got a lot more business building tutorials coming up for you. So, systems. What's the deal? Some people think a system is just some snazzy piece of tech or something stiff and formal for the big business honchos. But listen, any business, big or small, can benefit from a killer system to make things run like a well-oiled machine and give owners like us more free time. So, breaking it down, a system is just 3 simple things: people, process, and tools. It sounds straightforward, right? And once you understand how these 3 elements work in harmony together, you can whip up a handy system for just about anything. And I mean anything. So first up is your people. Simply, who's going to get the job done? And hopefully, it's not you. And then next, you've got the process. What steps or guidelines do they need to follow to nail the task? Lastly, you got the tools. What's needed to make it happen? And if you're missing any of these pieces or you haven't clearly defined them, you're going to end up doing damage control. So let's peek at an easy example. Managing your calendar. The people, your trusty assistant. The process, an outline of when you want certain types of meetings, whether that be a quick stand-up versus a longer planning meeting, when you want your sacred, uninterrupted thinking or creative time, or what I like to call going into the creative cave, and even your all-important breaks and vacations. And finally, the tools, your Google Calendar or scheduling software. The secret sauce to clone yourself with systems is to have all 3 components in place: the people, the process, the tools. Entrepreneurs often focus on the people and the tools, but overlook the process. And without that crucial piece, the system can't do its magic. And neither can you, because you'll find yourself back to the daily grind and away from the big picture business growth stuff you should be focusing most of your attention on. And speaking of growing your business, if you've hit a stuck point and don't know the next step to take, I've got a free workshop on unlocking the science of consistent action so you can finally build the business of your dreams, one tiny step at a time. So grab your seat at liveyourmessage.com/unlock. And when you attend, you'll also get my free companion guide with 5 brain hacks to beat resistance and smash your goals. Now, I promised you one super easy strategy to make sure your processes are so easy to follow that they're virtually impossible to screw up. Ready? It's so simple, you won't believe it. Just record your screen while you're completing tasks. You can use free screen recording tools like Loom or Screencastify. I also recommend a handy notebook at your side to jot down any non-visible steps. Then all you gotta do is hand off the recording to an assistant to document each individual step. And if you don't have an assistant, you can find someone on Fiverr or Upwork. Sharing the recording and the steps with the person responsible for the task means you're showing them exactly what to do without carving out extra time from your day. Plus, you can keep the recordings for future use and share them with anyone else joining your team. Investing some effort into crafting crystal clear processes boosts your systems and helps you get out of the day-to-day minutia so you can really focus on the bigger picture stuff to really grow your business. Plus, you can ensure things don't implode when you're not around, so you can finally take that time off that you've been desperately craving. You got this. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and grab your spot in my free workshop on unlocking the science of consistent action so you can stop dreaming and start doing. Just head to liveyourmessage.com/unlock. You got this. And if you want to keep watching more videos like this one, I recommend my video on the most profitable business ideas, as well as my video on how to grow and scale a business. See you in the workshop or the next video.